Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Podcast. I'm Sarah, and I'm here with the fantastic Adam. Hi, Adam. How's it going?
Hi, Sarah. I'm great. Super excited for today's topic. We're diving into something every English learner needs: daily use English sentences.
Exactly. We're going to explore how mastering these everyday phrases can really boost your fluency and confidence. Whether you're just starting out or aiming for that next level, this episode is packed with tips and examples.
That's right, Sarah. We'll break down why these sentences are so important, how to learn them effectively, and give you tons of practical examples you can use right away. So let's get started.
Monitor your accent. Daily use English sentences, the key to fluency. First off, why are daily use sentences so crucial for English learners?
Well, Sarah, think about it. Daily use sentences are the backbone of everyday communication. They're the phrases we use constantly in conversations, whether it's ordering coffee, asking for directions, or just chatting with friends.
Absolutely. They're the building blocks that help you express yourself smoothly and naturally. Instead of translating in your head, you can just pull these ready-made phrases from your memory.
Exactly. And that's key to fluency. It's not just about knowing a lot of words, it's about being able to use them effortlessly in context. Daily use sentences give you that fluency.
Common struggles and mistakes. So, where do learners typically struggle with these sentences, and what are some common mistakes?
Great question, Sarah. One common mistake is literal translation from their native language. What works in one language doesn't always translate directly into English. This can lead to some awkward or unnatural sounding sentences.
Definitely. Grammar can also be a tricky area. Even if learners know the individual words, putting them together correctly in a sentence can be challenging. Things like word order, verb tenses, and prepositions often trip people up.
Another thing I've noticed is that learners sometimes avoid using common phrases because they seem too simple. They think they need to use more complex language to sound impressive, but that's not the case. Native speakers use these simple phrases all the time.
That's such a good point, Adam. Simplicity is key in everyday communication. Using common phrases correctly will make you sound more natural and confident, not less.
Exactly. Now, let's dive into some practical tips for learning and mastering daily use sentences. What's your top tip, Sarah?
My number one tip is to listen, listen, listen. Immerse yourself in English as much as possible. Watch movies and TV shows, listen to podcasts, and pay attention to how native speakers use these sentences in real conversations.
Immersion is definitely a game changer. And to add to that, I'd say repetition is crucial. Don't just hear a sentence once, repeat it out loud multiple times. Practice saying it with different intonations and in different contexts.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to mimic native speakers. Pay attention to their pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. This will help you sound more natural and fluent.
Another great tip is to keep a language journal. Write down new sentences you learn along with their meanings and examples of how to use them. Review your journal regularly to reinforce your learning.
I love that idea, Adam. And to make it even more effective, try creating flashcards with the English sentence on one side and the translation or a picture on the other. This is a great way to memorize and review sentences quickly.
Spaced repetition is also super helpful. Instead of trying to cram everything at once, review sentences at increasing intervals. This helps move them into your long-term memory.
That's a fantastic technique. And finally, don't be afraid to use these sentences in real conversations. The more you practice speaking, the more comfortable and confident you'll become.
Couldn't agree more, Sarah. Now, let's get into some specific categories of daily use sentences and give our listeners some examples they can start using today. How about we begin with greetings and introductions?
Perfect. Greetings are the foundation of any conversation. So instead of just the basic hello, what are some other ways to greet people?
Well, you can use hi there, good morning, afternoon, or evening, or a more casual hey with friends.
And when you're meeting someone for the first time, you can say, nice to meet you, or pleased to meet you.
And if you want to ask how someone is doing, you can say, "How are you? How's it going?" Or "What's up?" in a more informal setting.
And how would you respond to those questions, Adam?
You could say, "I'm good, thanks," "I'm doing well," or "Not bad." And it's always polite to ask in return, like, "How about you?"
The podcast continues with the rest of the categories as originally scripted, with the names Emily and Paul consistently replaced by Sarah and Adam, and Mr. English Channel replaced by Speak English Podcast. Final thoughts.
Absolutely. So, Sarah, we've covered a lot of ground today. What are your final thoughts for our listeners?
My final thought is to start small and be consistent. Choose a few sentences from each category and focus on mastering them first. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep practicing and keep improving.
Exactly. And remember, fluency is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the process and celebrate your progress along the way.
Well said, Adam. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to our channel, Speak English Podcast, and share it with your friends who are also learning English.
And don't forget to leave a comment below with your favorite daily use sentence. We love hearing from you. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy learning!